So want me to say something? Oh, got it.
Just accept that you are being recorded,
I got it.
that you're okay with that.
Wonderful.
All right. Hello, everyone. We are back. I'm back. And today I'm really, really happy to have Dena Marie on the show today. Hey, Dena.
Hello. Aloha.
Aloha. Yes. We did just coincidentally meet each other in Kauai one time, and we didn't even know that each other would be there. Yeah. And so that was crazy.
It was
And we
amazing.
hung out. We hung
Yeah.
out. Dena, oh wow, she led me on this little journey when I was there. It was awesome to sit in a pyramid, under a pyramid, and meditate, where you had access to some land there where they had a pyramid, right?
Yeah, I can't. It seems like a whole nother lifetime,
It
but
was a
yeah.
lifetime ago, definitely. But I remember that. I remember it very clearly. And and you had all these crystals, and you were so sweet. You gave me some crystals too. Yeah, it was awesome to hook up with you there. So today I'm really excited. Dena and I have met a lifetime ago, another lifetime ago, years and years ago, through my sister. And she lives in Washington. Dena lives, home base is in Washington, because she's all over the place.
Whidbey Island right now. That's where I'm at
Whidbey
right
Island.
now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And my sister Tracy, who you've seen on my show a few times, or the other half of the Orb sisters, she took her son, right, to see you, my
Oh, yeah.
nephew.
He
Yeah.
was 8 years old. Yeah.
Gosh. And okay, so that can tell us a little bit, because he's 24 now.
I know. And he's been on my show. I have a radio show, but they were having some, I was doing these chakra readings that I invented. It was a kid's game. And I was doing hypnotherapy and Reiki. And Tracy and I were in this morning meeting to promote our businesses, a networking meeting. And I was strange, but they all taught me too how to bring this to the table in words that they could understand.
Yeah.
And that really made me who I am today, and why I use certain words. In other words, I just don't. But Tracy brought Nate to come see me at 8. It rhymed. And she left us alone. And I sometimes have the kids draw at first. And then we did the chakra reading. And then I could kind of see he actually told me dreams. I could tell his upper chakras were blocked. So I asked him about his dreams. And then at that point, he had some OCD, some issues that they wanted to medicate him for. And that was my passion, is to figure out what it was a past life. And he told me the past life, and I saw the past life, and he and I discussed it. And then I thought, well, I guess I need to tell Tracy. And she was open to it, and she talked to him. And I think after a while, he was so sweet. After a while, he quit. He was rubbing his nose all the time. He wouldn't stop. But I saw a past life where I saw a musket, and it was blowing up in his face, but you'd have to wet your nose all the time to keep it from being dried out, or, that smell and stuff. So that was one life. But he had another life on a wall in China. Yes. But he just told me about these lives, and then he quit doing those activities. They never medicated him. But I also went to, I think it was Tracy's church, and it was like a fair. And I brought my rocks and did readings at the church. And he comes to my table, and he says, Dena, the other day I was going to climb up the counter and get a cookie, and Metatron told me not to.
Nate told you that?
At that point, I was just learning the angels. Metatron is for indigo kids, and I was like blown away. And I'm like at a church going, how did I get here? That's how my life is. If I'm living through the energy work that I do, if I'm living that, magic happens. Like with you that day, I was with you. And then I went ziplining with a man from Canada who thought he was going to die of a heart attack. So that's what we were doing next, because it was PTSD. It wasn't a heart attack. It was childhood issues that he had never talked about from Ireland. Yeah. And then, so I love what we do. I really love it.
Yes. Thank you for saying that. And my passion too is past life stuff as well. But great segue for you to share a little bit about what you do, what you offer to the planet, the services you offer.
Well,
and a little bit about your background, how you kind of got into it, I think would be really, really interesting too.
I think we'll just go with, I was a mom, stay-at-home mom for 10 years. I was given some books, and they made a lot more sense than the background of the church stuff I was taught. In fact, I kind of tried not to be that person. When I read those books, they made sense to me, and I was very unhappy not being me. So I started collecting stones, and then I would practice all my stuff on my children and the kids I watched, color therapy or dream analysis. And at nap, I would meditate. So every day for 10 years, I stayed home and meditated while they napped. And then that's when I started seeing my past lives. I started really tuning up my chakras, talking to light beings and just people that had crossed over. I had information. I scared people. And that's when it kind of got out of control. It got super scary for a side of my all of my family, except for my kids who loved it. But then we called it the rock game. So I have hundreds of rocks, and the kids would pick their rocks, and I would read them. Years later, it became 7 rocks for the chakras. And then I got some hypnotherapy training, and I set my shop up. It was in Lake Stevens at the time, and I started picking up on people that crossed over. I traded work with a man who was a Reiki master. That was a weird word for me. I did not like Reiki. That was a weird word. But I did that with him for a year, every Thursday night. Halfway through, I discovered cancer. Came from a childhood past life thing that we actually had together. Pretty powerful. So I went to chemo with him, and I practiced my hypno, my guided imagery, my chakra readings. I did work with the nurses sitting there doing chemo with my friend. And then he was cancer free. So that's where I came up with what I do. And then I moved to the Oxford in Snohomish.
Ooh.
And that's where I met your sister. And I was basically doing Ghost Society stuff, Reiki. I had a second room that's called a Montessori for adults. So I make them go next door and do their chakra prescription before they went home.
That's where I met you first time, I believe, was when you had your office, your space there, right? And isn't that, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Dena, but isn't that one of the most haunted buildings in the country, the Oxford?
Well, I think the reason that area is so haunted is because of so many deaths. There were many Native American children that were conceived by the founders. So I uncovered a lot of stuff, a lot of bad stuff. And a lot of the loggers had drank so much they die, or because they weren't drinking good alcohol. It was bad. And they would beat each other up. Bodies were in the river. I mean, it was such a bad energy. And then the voice said, "You're here to bring the feminine energy to this side of the street."
Nice.
So that's
the side of the street.
Yeah. So that's where the kids came in, and me doing all those funny events I did. And then they hired me to be the Main Street director of Snohomish. Cool. And I started a music festival, and this is relevant. I started a music festival for kids at a coffee shop who I mentored after school. And it went for 12 years. And on the 12th year, I got to hear Nate in that festival play music on stage.
That I went to that event the first time he was on stage at a festival. Yes, that was awesome. It was amazing to see my nephew up there. I mean, he's so talented, but to see him up there playing for people in front of a crowd, yeah, that was awesome.
And then he was on my show, and he could talk. It's just, and the young lady and the young man that I started the event for have gone. One went to American Idol. They've all been on my show. These kids that I mentored are now my friends. And so most of my work is nonprofit, and I do it because Spirit tells me to. Kauai went to Hawaii. My marriage was broken, and I ran away from home. And the time I saw you, it was my second time there, and I met Jeannie the time before by giving her son a reading for free, a free reading just at the place, because I just walked in to get a massage. And she said, "Could you help him?" And he just got home from military school, and they were going to send him off to the Army. And we did a reading, and his throat chakra was blocked, power chakra. And what I learned is because they were redhead kids, the Howley thing became a problem. And so in Hawaii, the kids that live there really don't like the newbies that come in and move there. So he had PTSD from thinking he was going to get killed all the time, because they even had a Kill a Howley Day. And he didn't tell his parents this. He just kept going to school, but they had to send him away eventually because he got in trouble. But when he got back, they didn't know what to do with him. And he said, and I'm going to tell you this story because it's been on my show, is that he said he stole Skittles and a rope. And he said if he got caught, he wouldn't kill himself that day. And he's telling me stuff that he hasn't told his mom. So they thought he was a troublemaker, but he was thinking of taking his life. And the best part is I went back for 10 years and he and I were best friends. He went to art school instead of going to the military. And now he just got accepted. Like, it's unreal without your resume and all this stuff. He just got accepted on the mainland for an amazing art school.
Oh, that is amazing. Wow. Good for you. That is, that's so cool. I love it when I hear about healers, practitioners like you that work with children. I love working with children myself. It's not the bulk of my clientele, but sometimes every once in a while, someone will bring a child to me, and it's just so amazing because they're so open and they're closer to spirit, right? So it's a little bit easier to get through the the walls. Yeah, but children are just so amazing to work with.
And that's where the rock game came from, was kids. But then I also treat adults like children, because we're all children. And that's where the rock reading's playful and fun. And, you know, with the hypnotherapy, I found a lot more sexual abuse than I ever thought. But every time that somebody comes to me, I'm healing that part of myself. So the kids, one day I'm taking one to dance class, and I looked at her and I said, you know, every time I take you to dance class, I'm taking Dena Marie to dance class. The 16-year-old who didn't get to go to dance class. Right. So, and yeah, now they're like 30, of course, these young ladies and men, but yeah. And then the game turned into a book. So during that time I started writing the book, and then I published it, and then I had 7,000 books. How do you get rid of 7,000 books? I had no idea. So that's where the marketing, the radio show, the magazine, all that stuff was to help me market my book, doing all the fairs, going to Hawaii and doing healing work and the expo there. They have an expo. They used to have it every year in January. So I'm sure when I saw you, it was January.
Yeah, probably. I don't remember what exactly, but yes, probably. I love Kauai. I can't wait to go back soon.
Yeah, me too. But Whidbey Island, you know, things are going for me, but I really promote art, music, and community. I just did a show with 2 musicians, and one got Reiki and one did the readings. And I also am a songwriter. So it's kind of, everything I do is as a triple Gemini.
Oh, wow.
Very creative.
You cannot not do anything, right?
Some guy the other day, he says to me, he goes, "You're just like a child." I was like, well, the things you do, you're just like a kid.
That's awesome, though.
It's yeah, if I'm happy and I'm tuning up my chakras, like today I went to the gym. I walked 3 dogs today.
Wow.
I work with dogs now.
Nice.
And we have 3 ladies plus me meeting a new owner, and the dog's already on my lap. The other dog wouldn't take his head off my lap. He just kept rubbing my lap with his head. And the dad goes, "Well, maybe you should meet some of the other pet sitters." So he takes the dog away from me. And the dog's like, So,
no, I want her.
It's the energy and the Reiki and the childlike. Plus, I'm very stern. You know, you also have to train them how to treat you like people.
Sure. Yeah.
So
yeah, dogs are great. They recognize good energy. Cats too. But dogs, I mean, dogs don't hide it. Cats are, in my experience anyway, cats are more aloof. So it's kind of a little bit hard to tell whether they like you or not. Well, whereas dogs, you could tell pretty much right away.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the one woman goes, "I said, I saw the cat." No one said, they say you never see the cat. I see the cat, but the people that have been watching this cat for 2 years have never seen the cat.
Oh.
So that's, I think it's just the Reiki, plus it's something we carry with us all the time if we're practicing it.
Sure.
And I'm not in a hurry. I don't have any anger, and they sense all of that.
Right. That's
so
awesome.
I'm enjoying it. I'm getting paid to go walk dogs, spend the night with them, and then I come back and I get to do all my other stuff, getting back to my healing work. And yeah, and then the radio show is super a gift to just tell stories over time. You know, even our story, Tracy's story.
Yeah, we were on there. Thank you. Yeah,
that was
fun. Yeah, that was so much fun. So what's the name of first of all, the name of your book? Our
Energy Matters.
Our Energy Matters. And the name of your, go ahead.
And now my friend and I, Anthony Almana, he was a author. He's a professor. So 2.5 years ago, I interviewed him about his book, Lucas and the Game of Chance. But I read this book and it's got a serpent in a spiral on the cover. And the whole thing is very spiritual. It's about this man trying to find his way back. He brings in the sun and the moon, and he has all these metaphors, but he has no idea. So I interview him about the way I see the book. And he's like, oh my God. So he bought my book. He bought my book. And then my voice said, ask him if he wanted to do a weekly call. And I would teach him the chakras. What he started doing was writing pieces about my book. He calls me a celestialist artist and alchemist. He has all these words for me.
Wow.
And they're beautiful writings. And it kept me going through the dark times. We met weekly. And then now he has me for the last year doing a YouTube. So I have a YouTube on Anthony Elmana. Of course, he goes on my show all the time, but it's about 20 minutes, someone who's super new to all this, just having his eyes open. And the chakra work, how playful it is. And he, he's like, why didn't I get taught this a long, long time ago?
Mm-hmm.
So he's an 80-year-old man who's just mesmerized.
Oh, he's 80?
80-year-old man. Never met him. He's in Ohio. And basically he writes a piece each week. But it's like I told him today, it's like children at Christmas. When you're an adult, you see them for the first time experience something. Mm-hmm. So seeing him experience the chakras is pretty super cool.
That is, definitely. At 80? Yeah, when you've lived your whole life not knowing or not being aware of the chakras or anything like that. That's amazing. I mean, it took me 40 years to wake up to all this. 80, good for him. Good for him for being open to that, because not a lot of 80-year-olds would be.
No, and he was supposed to be a priest. He got out of that, and then he came out, and him and his partner write books together. Nice. And we just have the most amazing conversations. And his age and my age, we know we have a past life. There's just no way we don't. And between that and him doing the shows, and it's Lift Your Spirits with Dena Marie, and that's been almost 9 years this spring. So what do I do? Anything God tells me to.
There you go. That's how we should all live, right?
Yeah.
That's how we should all live. Yeah. And I love the fact that you started seeing your past lives and being aware of your past lives and tuning into spirit, on the other side during your meditations. And that's kind of what brought it open for you. Because that's kind of how it happened for me too. I had the near-death experience, but I didn't remember anything until I listened to my guidance to go into meditation every night. And I made that commitment to be in meditation every night. And that's when it started opening up, because, we can't really open up to stuff if we're constantly focused out here. So we had to go within. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And that's where it is. But when you go within and you start seeing things, and your life is a facade, your life is not what they're telling you, and what they're telling you feels right. So then you have to start. I got divorced. He was not going to put up with it. His family didn't like it. They call me the Antichrist. Wow. I could, for instance, a little story. I'm doing my hair. Usually when I'm doing my hair, that's when I get my crown chakra open. And I say out loud, God, if so-and-so died, I wonder if I'd go to his funeral. So we're at a birthday party that night. He doesn't show up. I tell everyone to go home and get him or call him or something. So he passes away. And that's the stuff I used to do. And it scared people. And I know where it came from, because I used to be a temple worker in past life. So these chakras are very open. And so it's really important to tune up my lower chakras so I don't go a little bit mad, because I can't tell you how many stories of someone tapping me on the shoulder, a spirit, to get through to someone who's suicidal, because they would like to leave because they're so depressed from this person leaving, or lots of people leaving, and then they just want to take their lives. And I'll usually say, so how bad is it? And they will say, Dena, I've got the plan. It's going to be tomorrow, my car in the garage, that kind of stuff. And
wow. Yeah.
And then that person keeps tapping me on the shoulder until we get the person better. And then I never see them again. They're just trying to, and I can't tell you, in the center, it's always someone who just lost their mom. Someone, I almost know it's going to happen when people come to me. Someone recently passed.
That's interesting. Is it usually a male?
That talks to me, or no, it's
No,
all,
that, okay.
it-
Because
it's,
I know that there's that sacred relationship between son and mother and daughter and father. And
it could be it's usually a wife, a mother. It's just random. And it's usually someone who just, like it was a daughter, two sisters and a mother who lost the father.
okay.
And it was, yeah. And so it's just, and then I'll bring up stuff like about alcoholism or something. And they'll go, yeah, we didn't talk about it, blah, 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 blah. But it's just, God, it's, how do you say it? The readings help see things really quickly.
Mhm.
So I don't have to sit in a chair for 1,000 sessions.
That's what that's what I always say. We don't have to sit there with talk therapy where you talk and talk and talk, which is nice, to get it out, but we can do that at home and journal and things like that. And then and then turn to it. This is awful, counselors are great, in certain areas, definitely, but they turn to a guidebook or say, say something like, okay, this is what you need to do from here on out. But yeah, talk therapy. Yeah.
Well, and my most favorite thing to do is help them see other alternatives, other ways besides medication. Because when I lose people I'm losing the man I wrote the letters or the songs with to over prescription. I mean, I have videos of him telling me each drug, what it's done for him. And one time he said one drug, and I don't remember what it was. He said, like when you do Reiki with me and how I feel after Reiki, that's what that drug did to me for, whatever years he took it. So it gives you a feeling, but if you're taking 13 drugs a day, he can't play music anymore. And you can see him over the videos over time getting mad at himself because he's got brain damage. The pharmaceuticals,
right? That's a whole other show. But
it is. But it starts with Nate too. Who would he be today?
Yes, right. He wouldn't have that creativity he has, that drive he has when it comes to his music.
No.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I thank my sister all the time for that. It's, and Dena, it's all an agenda. It's part of the agenda. Yeah, part of the agenda, but we know better.
Well, we also know too that we came here to be in this time. You and I came here to be here. And what a city ranch said to me, an angel, I always say them, the light being, said, we need more of you to show up in physical form. So as you and I channel and we allow that energy, my arms are buzzing when I even do that, right? They come through to us, and then we're always at the right place at the right time, and life is magical. But I call it lift your spirits for a reason, because I say I have to practice every day. And I don't watch television. I absolutely do not turn on that television.
Good.
No. And it's that, what they're doing. They're brainwashing us. They're hypnotizing us. They're feeding us this horrible thing.
Yeah.
And it's killing us. And so of course people are depressed. And there's nothing you can do about 99% of the stuff. So pick the one thing you can do something about, which is, treat people nice, have a good day in your neighborhood, do the best you can. But I do have an Ireland life, and we knew that they were coming. We knew that they were coming, and they were going to try to take away our life, the way we did things. And what we did is we fought back.
Yeah.
And this time I'm on an island and I'm around Irishmen like you would not believe, and I'm not fighting back. I'm going to create art and music and community, and I'm just going to sit here in my light and spread it around and see if they just don't see us. What I'm saying is I get a second chance, because fighting and killing and hurting one another is never, ever the answer. It never has been.
No, it just leads to more. But when you're a warrior like that and you're used to that, it's hard to get past that and fight in a different way. I totally get it. But that's, and that's what we're here for, is to put down our weapons, our physical weapons. We don't need them. We can have them energetically, of course, but we don't need them.
Well, and the kids I was sending, they were bards. They were the young music. They were the musicians and the story, because we were running out of men, and I knew they would die immediately. And so when I work with musicians, Ben Shaw, Van Connor, Patty Duddy, these are all men that they've all been to Hawaii, or anyways, they're my bards. Jonathan here, They all look kind of the same. I met one in a city ranch. His name was Nathaniel. And I have this, what do you call, homesickness. That's how I know they've been with me in a past life, because I saw them bludgeon, like they weren't fighters. They weren't going to do well. Right. And so I owe them a little bit. So that's where the music comes in. I help them get their music out or tell their stories. And, but yeah, it's my karma. My karma is to be the peaceful warrior.
There you go. Peaceful warrior, light warrior, peaceful warrior. So in Ireland, they won their independence eventually, didn't they?
Oh gosh, this is so far back that, this is like 2000 years ago. But when I meet Patty Duddy in Hawaii, and he's in a band called DOA now, Dead on Arrival. And he goes, Dena, you're scaring me with all this stuff, because it kind of turned out that, he came home in a body bag, and now he's off playing music. He does not have a heart issue whatsoever. I got to take Van to Hawaii, and he got to experience the beauty of the island. And then this is my new Ireland. So Woodby Ireland it's about art, music. I'm getting back into my healing. And it said during this thing, expand your light, everything will be all right. That's it.
Mm-hmm. I got that message before I moved back home from Oregon to Oregon from Texas. I got that message. Expand your light, hold the light, expand your light. That's what you're there for. Yeah. And so, and this before I even knew I was going to be doing any of the things I'm doing. So.
Yay. I know.
Right?
We're on this. We're light workers, and we just kind of bump into each other occasionally. And I call it a tag team. And I don't heal people anymore. I don't even try to save people. I'm not doing any codependent work anymore. It's just kind of like, how do I say it? Like Sonia, she was here. She's an acupuncturist. We share an office. So through this time, we work with each other, when you weren't supposed to touch or whatever. Sonia got Reiki with me, and I got acupuncture with her. And, we had those conversations. How are we going to get through this? Because we think a lot alike about natural immunity. You know what I'm talking about. So that whole time was a witch hunt, and her and I somehow made it through.
Right. Yes.
And we're together and we're healthy.
Of course. Yeah. I know, right? Isn't it amazing? Yeah. No surprise there.
Yeah.
When you see through the lies, it's like, why can people not see this? But everyone's got their own journey. Everyone has their own journey.
You take one antidepressant, this is gone. You take it for 10 years, this is gone. And so with my healing work in the Oxford, I didn't know. I had people write down things. I didn't know about pharmaceuticals at that time. There weren't a lot. I knew about like Ritalin or something for kids. But when someone comes in with 10 different medications, then I start wondering. And then they couldn't close their eyes and see pictures. And I couldn't do hypnotherapy with them. I said, I'll do Reiki with you. We can do the readings, but something happens when you leave here. It's like a eraser. The next day, they don't remember what we worked on. And it's just this numbing, this thing is important. This is how you get signs and synchronicities and your intuition. And then also your feelings, your heart knows when something feels good. But if you're numb, which I can't tell you how many drugs are out there. It's just, it's crazy.
It's insane. And not, and all of our chakras need to be worked, fluid and flowing and bringing in and clearing energy as we go throughout our day. And I can just imagine how the pharmacy, I feel energy with that, how the pharmaceuticals would one by one be very instrumental in shutting them down, working to shut them down.
And you're not listening to your body. So they try to give me blood pressure medicine, but I was also in a relationship that was very unhealthy, and I was trying to save a person. So by me not taking my meds, I know when I start behaving that way again, my blood pressure goes up. So it tells me, Dena, take care of yourself. But if I took that medication, I can't tell you how many people are just like, well, I take my drugs so I can do whatever I want. Coffee, not taking care of their health. But if you have that barometer, then you're doing something that doesn't feel good. So you stop doing that. But what if you can't listen? You don't listen to your body because you can't. You're on so many drugs.
You don't feel it. You don't, walking around in a fog and don't feel it. Don't feel the body. What the body's trying to tell you. We talk about that a lot in our podcasts. Listen to your body. And once once you start listening, it takes, what I've found is it takes a little time to recognize that your body's talking to you. Because the only time we really recognize if we're not paying attention is when we have pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's too late. Or at least, yeah, go ahead.
When you're listening, you're going to have to take action. So just like me, when my inner voice came in and was very strong, I had to be me. I had to be me. And I was not, I'm still kind of really not involved with my family. It's just I'm too strange. I'm too far out for them, and
that's too bad. There's a lot of people like that. Yeah. Well, it's meant to be then, but it's too bad.
Well, they said to me that you needed bodies to get here, and then you get off the tarmac, you land, and then you go off and you experience things. Yeah. And we all needed a certain time and an era and parents. But if you don't, and I do believe this, like karmic, like you have this person, they're just in your life and you're learning all these sometimes horrible lessons, but then you get it. But some people just, like I said, there's a multiverse, and you might be in a mall of 1,000 people and only one person even talks to you. And that's because it's a plan. It's like, or your energy is the same, or gosh, just like you being there. I can't tell you how many times in Hawaii, Roy Holman, who's meeting Tracy and I now in Snohomish, he was there. He didn't know I was there, and we got to hang out, and I showed him what to do because he was getting depressed. It was raining. I found him where to get water in an artesian well or whatever, and he went hiking, and then he planned a retreat there. But if he hadn't ran into me, he would have never gone back to Hawaii. It wasn't working out for him. He was like, it only rains and nothing to do here. I said, there's a Hindu temple, there's 88 shrines, there's people there showed me so many sacred sites. And it's all because I did that 2-day festival in January where I got to meet hundreds and hundreds of people and do my healing work, all because I read that little boy, and his mom took me in, and pretty soon I was helping her run Dolphin Touch Wellness Center in Kapa'a. And then if they know I'm in town, they just pull up and take me kayaking or feed me dinner or whatever. So it's, they want me to go back, but I'm really so busy right now here. And I don't feel the need like I used to when it's dark, like maybe last week or something when it rained yesterday. But no, I'm feeling back. I'm in the groove, and this is my island. So Kauai is special, but I also have been told recently not to go backwards and to keep moving forward. There's so much more going on here, just forward,
right?
Not
forward.
Back there.
I get it. Don't look back. Yeah. So of course, that doesn't mean you won't be going back to Kauai every once in a while, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So do you do sessions online as well as in person?
I don't really want to.
Okay.
I have so much working out here on the island right now because I get back into my office. People are marketing me already. I didn't even ask for it, but the universe just gave me that green light. And so everyone is ready because my grand opening 3 years ago was March 2020. That's now I guess I've learned a valuable lesson that the only person I can take care of is me. And before that, I was taking care of everyone but me. So
I get it. Yeah. These are the times, definitely. And sometimes we don't learn that until we get old enough to be smart about it. We have to have a few 2x4s upside the head, as my dad used to say.
Well, the firefighter said, Dena, well, you can have a stroke, or, you can change your tune or take drugs, which I always have horrible allergic reactions. Lost all my skin on my mouth. One time I had to go to Hawaii with my mouth where I couldn't smile. So I was doing this.
From what?
A high blood pressure medicine.
Oh gosh. Wow.
I can't take any of that stuff. It swole so fast that it tore all my skin. So I still don't really smile the way I used to. But I didn't want to take those drugs. But I was in a relationship where it was stressful. It was very stressful. And this person was sick and I was trying to take care of him. And so, and I my whole life I've done that. And it's a very bad habit to try to save people.
Yeah, it is. And that's more patterns and programs from past lives. Yeah, totally. I know that. Okay, but do you do sessions at all?
Yeah. So what I do here on Whidbey Island is retreats.
Yes.
So
There
people
we
get
go.
off, they get
Okay.
off the ferry, and then I take them to Bayview Healing Suites where we do the Reiki. If the weather's nice, we go to the beach and do the chakra reading. Then I have them walk the beach, and they kind of get to, there's shells and glass and stuff. So they pick up a few things. We go to the labyrinth at Whidbey Institute, and I leave them alone. They walk the labyrinth. The lovely things that come from that. They'll say things that just blow me away. They'll just come out and say something. And I did this in Hawaii too. The same thing in Hawaii, because I had a labyrinth there and the healing center. And then we go to Langley, where all kinds of weird things happen. Either we have dinner, or there's whales out there. And sometimes they go to the wineries, the distilleries, and the meaderies, and people spend the night. So that's kind of, and now that we're back, and this weird time where we were so so I chose natural immunity. I lost friends because I didn't do something that I didn't want to do. I didn't do it. And then now all of a sudden I think that people are starting to see the light. A lot more people are saying I'm, for all the wrong reasons, they did something. They're coming here telling me now, but remember, my lesson was not to try to save people. They had to learn that lesson on their own. Yeah. And even my friend, Sonia, she was masking. She was ready to do all the things that everyone else was doing. And then she started to have an intuition. And she said, Dena, do you think? She came to me and I said, so what do you think? And then she told me what she thought. She was afraid. I was relieved. I hugged her because she did it. She found her intuition. She figured it out, and we got through it. It was a really rough time, but I'm watching people that are sick from it, really sick. And I'm not sure how, or if anything we can do about it, but I did let everyone learn on their own. So all my kids and I are very healthy, and we're all on the same team. So
that helps when it's your own family is on the same team. That helps a lot. Definitely. Yeah. Good for
and then
you,
my friends, a lot of good friends, they just figured it out right away. But a lot of people got swept away with the who's right and wrong, and taking their energy and scattering it. So that's another thing too. You've got to stay here and just, eat right, take care of yourself, get outside, get sunlight.
Sunlight is so important. Definitely. Yeah, I know in the Northwest here, it's we don't take it for granted, that's for sure. But I saw a recent quick video, and I'm sure you know this, about getting your feet on the ground no matter what the weather is. Just putting your feet on the ground for a few minutes can actually change your blood. I saw a little video on that.
The other day, it was beautiful out. So I went and found a cove, because I know the wind won't hit me. So people come around the corner. I'm wearing like a tank top, and I got my feet in the sand, and I go, I'm pretending like I'm in Hawaii, aloha. So I was there for a couple hours, and people were just like, whoa. And then the weather was good enough. I went home, got my bathing suit on, and I went swimming. And this woman walks by me and she says, of course, the next day it poured down rain. She goes, what did you do today? You're beaming. And I'm like, wow, I got sunlight. And I went swimming. I was in nature. And during the winter, people, maybe all year round, they never take their shoes off. They're never on the earth. And the spirit told me to lay on it too. You bring a blanket and lay your back on the earth. Like we used to have picnics and things and the grass.
Yes, we did. We used to do things outside, a lot more things outside.
Yeah,
just being in connection, even your hands, anything in the dirt, on the planet, in connecting to Mother Earth can be so healing. Yeah, but that blew me away when I saw what just having your feet on the ground change their blood, change our blood cells, our
and because I get overwhelmed with all the EMFs now. I can't really go into a 30,000 person stadium. It doesn't even sound attractive to me. Want to go to the Seahawks? I'm like, no, I don't want to go to the Seahawks.
I don't blame you. Yeah.
I'll be in the woods, but I hope they win. But yeah, your energy that's when my blood pressure goes up too. So I can feel it rising, and then I just go into nature and I feel it. I feel like I settle, my head gets back on straight. But I have a client, he's a beautiful young man who sees energy. OCD, ADHD, all these things I try to medicate him for. But he goes, Dena, I can see the radio waves. I can see the stuff around us. And this was like 10 years
Wow.
10 years ago at Ocean Shores. He told me this.
Oh,
And
okay.
he's right. You know, and he's a Gemini. He's got the same birthday as me. It's just insane. But we both have that same, the light worker type. He's so wise. His sister just lost her baby at 5 months. And I'm pretty sure I know why. The heartbeat stopped, that kind of stuff. Anyway.
In her belly. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he says, you know, Katie came here to learn through loss. He'll just say the most profound thing. And the family's just like, he's always right. And he can always tell me, like, I'll try to fake it and act like I'm on top of the world. And he'll pull me aside and go, hey, do you know what's up? You are not a happy camper. But he knows. He's just very sensitive, and he needs to be outside. He cannot be around computers, and he can't eat sweet things and the chemicals. But he's a kid. I mean, it's hard, you know, to eat right and sleep and not be around computers when everyone else is doing it.
Sure.
I've
started fasting, intermittent fasting. I bought this book called Fast Like a Girl. And I used to fast, and that's what helped me in the very beginning, 20 years ago or so, is to get into a clearer state. And I was fasting so much that I didn't want to eat. I could have been a breatharian. I definitely could have been a breatharian, you know, yeah. So I've started doing intermittent fasting because I feel like I need something to boost that desire to fast longer, and it's really helping me a lot.
Well, I think that when I was first getting into this, I did the juice the lemon, the cleanser, master cleanser. And every month I fasted for 3 to 10 days. And then I would start adding food. And by the end of it, I would eat whatever I wanted and then go back to it. I haven't done it for over 3 years, but I used to do it every month. And I was a personal trainer and I never got sick and all that stuff. But you can almost, the colors are brighter. You become really intuitive. And it's cheaper. I was kidding.
It is. That's what I'm thinking. I'm saving a lot of money.
Yeah, I got it. I mean, you're just like, I need to get back into that because I really enjoyed, and I get really thin though. I get too thin a little bit because you're right. You get so used to not wanting to eat. Yeah. So people were concerned, but I was healthy. I mean, I was happy.
That's what happened to me is my friends were very concerned because I got so skinny, and you know, I didn't consider myself skinny. I was fine.
Or two, you can't go. They're like, you're just no fun when you can't eat this, you can't do that, you can't. I'm like, get to me at the end of the month, and you and I'll go out dancing and drinking, okay? But for now, I'm happy, and everything you just feel 100% better. So I gotta get back to it.
Yeah, and the book is really fascinating. She has a YouTube channel too. She's a doctor, Dr. Mindy Pelz, PLZ, and I've been talking about it on my podcast. So she talks about how our cells don't have, you know, and you know this, that if we're eating constantly every day and don't give our bodies enough time to rest, our cells enough time to burn what we need to burn, then it causes all kinds of problems in our body. And I don't recall the scientific details of it, but she makes it easy to understand, is it can cause cancer and diseases and things like that if our cells are not able to rejuvenate and clear themselves out.
Well, and it's the toxins are stored in your fat. Yeah. So like the whales right now are starting to starve to death. They're dying from toxicity because they're getting rid of all the chemicals that they're exposed to in the oceans too quickly. So the more you fast, you give your body the break it needs so you can get rid of the toxins. But if you never fast, it's stored in your fat. And if you get sick and you can't eat for a while, it could be toxicity that actually kills you because your body's going to go through it can go back to when you were doing drugs in high school. I mean, that's right. Whatever you've been storing for all these years. And I remember, because I was a kind of a fun kid. When we first started fasting, like, I feel like I'm on something. It was coming out of my fat cells, you know. I don't get that anymore, but or cigarettes, all that stuff. When you go swimming in swimming pools, all those chemicals.
Chlorine, yeah.
Until your body gets a vacation, and then it can go through. So it is mind, body, spirit. It's the whole enchilada.
It is, and we forget about the body because we're so brainwashed to not pay attention to our body, to think that, and that's another thing is the brainwashing with all the with the vegan diets and things like that. I've talked to so many people, or heard about so many people that have expressed it on a video, that being on a vegan diet all the time for years and years and years actually caused so much inflammation in their body.
And they can't get back to eating any food ever again. I mean, moderation is
Moderation, yeah.
moderation. And then vegans that I work with, they just don't have any color in their skin. Because they're doing it maybe because they want to save animals, and I totally understand. But yeah, so obsessed with it. This woman's just like, she has no pink, she has no color, just an iron. I don't like to eat red meat. I don't like the way it tastes. My son made me have a steak the other day. Not made me. He made it
you.
For
He
me.
forced you. Yeah, I know.
He made it for me, and he was so sweet. And because he's trying to do the veggies and the meat right all the time. Yeah. So that's how he does it. But I thought, I need to at least try it. So I will do something like that. But then I'm back to, I can taste the blood and I don't like it.
Yeah, I can't eat. I can't. The only meat I eat normally is a piece of salmon. Every once in a while, I'll eat some salmon. But I don't. And I'm not. I always say I could be a vegan if I wanted to. I could be a vegan. But yeah, I've changed my vegetables that I do eat. I don't eat the leafy greens like I used to, because I would eat them every day and have a smoothie every day, which was filled with all kinds of vegetables and not grains, but seeds, that type of thing, like flaxseed and all that. And I'm like, oh, this is all, this long list of all these things are really good for us. Well, they must be even really, really, really good for me. So I was drinking a smoothie every day. And since I've been fasting, this is my 4th intermittent fast. I'm still eating after 15 hours, something, I'm just going between 14 and 16 hours of intermittent.
That's my day anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of normal too. I've done that before, just not even thinking about it.
Well, when you're engaged and you're having fun, the last thing you want to do is, when people go off to McDonald's and get a bunch of stuff, your brain just shuts down. There's just no way you can keep this up when you've overeaten. So I eat like the kids used to eat. They wanted a snack. They wanted a snack only when they were really hungry, because they were having too much fun playing.
There you go, listening to your body again.
There you go. Because if we have to think, and people eat for all the wrong reasons anyways, but it's nice here because we have organic farms and things we can go to, and it's a little farm stand year round. They still have things they grow on, but it's just fun to get it from a person that and
sure
salads don't sound good in the winter, but soup, I've been making lots of soup.
Yeah, that's what I live off of, is soup.
Soup's good for you.
Soup, I love soup.
And that's another thing.
I have a Vitamix, so I make pretty much all my meals are made in the Vitamix.
Yeah, but also the seasons, listening to the seasons, and this is a very nurturing time. This is a time to sleep more. This is a time to eat warm foods, but
thank you.
The malls, the shopping, the holidays. I mean, I always see people now, they're always upset, they're sad, they don't feel good. That's because you went against your bodily rhythms. You went against nature. And this is a time just to, I say, cuddle or stay inside when it's raining. Listen to the guitar players the other day. I was like, oh my God.
Kind of hibernation type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But I think too, we live in, people leave this island and they're gone 12 hours. That's whose dogs I'm watching. They're gone 12 hours a day, and are working on the mainland. They have these big, beautiful homes. They're not in them all the time, but I am with their dogs.
Well, good deal. Good deal. I want a job like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got enough critters here. I don't need any more.
Well, I just asked for a job where I have fun, and I forgot how much I loved animals. And 3 years ago, that's what I was doing. I was starting to do dog sitting. Good because my friend went to Europe for 10 months. She was a client of mine, but she's in Antarctica right now. She just does the most wildest things, but she went to Europe for 3 months, pet care, ended up staying 10. So she was on my show teaching me how to do it. And then we had this thing.
Wow.
So,
wow. Good for you. Yes. Well, thank you, Dena. Thank you so much. Do you have any words of wisdom or any kind of advice or suggestions for people that are watching, how to just get through these times right now?
I say lift your spirits. So this is where you want to be. It was 6 months before Anthony Manick could look up, because he was taught as a priest to look down. And so when he had his crown chakra open, his third eye open, and his throat chakra, he looked up for the first time. We were on Zoom on my radio show. It was beautiful. But we count our blessings. So five intentions and 5 blessings. So I say, gosh, today I'm super blessed. I could go on and on and on. Some people will shake their head and can't think of anything, but just think of 5 things that you, like your beating heart, you have oxygen to breathe, whatever you need to focus on to get your party started. And then you ask for what you need. I want peace of mind. I love good sleep, excellent health, quality time with my family and Mother Nature. And then I say work that I enjoy, that I have fun, I make money, good money. And you're just painting a picture. Then you go about your day and you'll get little intuitions or some synchronicity, and then you make a phone call, and then pretty soon you're dog sitting and getting paid good money in a beautiful house watching the sun come up. It's that's how it really works. That's how it works. But if you don't order at the restaurant, the waiter doesn't bring you anything.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much.
All right, I can't wait to see you in person one day. Again. I can't hear you. I've lost you.
I lost myself. I hit the button. Okay.
I'm reading your lips.
I muted myself. Okay.
Awesome.
No, what I said was I'll probably be up there in the spring.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So I do have clients up there as well. So they, say, hey, when are you coming back up?
You and Tracy need to come to the island. We need to do the labyrinth and stuff. Yeah.
We do. We should plan a trip. We'll plan a trip.
You just tell me when.
Okay.
All right. Aloha.
All right. Mwah. Aloha.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.